Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika. This is a review for The Oval, okay, season 3, episode 15, Wicked. And baby, these people are wicked, y'all. They crazy as hell. You hear me? They are crazy. And some of them are just plain damn stupid, okay? Do not use their brains, okay? Starting with dummy number one, Kareem, okay? We pick up where we left off, where he is in the police station. The Secret Service guy, Grip, is basically still asking him, like, what was you saying? What did you want to come here to talk about? You still got the same story? You still want to keep your story and all of that type of stuff. And, basically interrogating Kareem behind. And, he was still covering up his mouth or whatever the case may be. And he was like, come on, tell me what you got to tell me. I don't have all night. And Kareem is basically trying to say, I don't have anything to say. I don't want to talk. And he was like, oh, no, you do want to talk about it. You came here to talk about it. Okay, so obviously you got some stuff you want to get off your shoulder. And he was like, you have to see the officer to be able to go. And you got to come on and tell me what you need to tell me. He was like, you said you had a girlfriend and something about the president. So he was like, no, I was smoking. He was like, you was smoking what? He was like, oh, I was smoking weed. And, and he was like, and that made you delusional? And he was like, yeah. So, you know how they do. He going back and forth like, no, it didn't. And he was like, I just want to go home, all right? So he was like, is that where she's at? She's at your house? And then he's like, no, she's not there, not at all. And he was like trying to run, and the damn guy basically choked him out and put him to sleep. I'm like, Kareem, I don't know how stupid you could freaking be, yo. They told you behind not to go to the police. I just feel like it's what you deserve for you being stupid and for you being such a-hole the previous seasons, okay? I can't even feel but so bad for you at this particular time, because I don't know what the hell you thought you was doing. Like, this is the president of the freaking United States. It don't take a rocket scientist to figure out going to the police is not a good idea. But you went and you did it anyway. So anyway, then we get, Sam coming in. He's bringing food to Cal, checking on him or whatever have you. And, Cal is basically still saying, are you serious, Sam? And Sam like, yeah. And he like, you can't keep me down here. You're going to have to let me out eventually. You know what I'm saying? And Sam is like, well, this is where we at. It's happening. I do have you down here. You're not going nowhere. And so, Cal is trying to tell him he got medication to take. And Sam is like, cut the bull. You ain't got no medicine to take. You don't take no medicine. We have nothing on record for you. And he's saying that he going to die down there if he don't take it. And, like I said, Sam was telling him there's nothing in your file about that. And then he's telling him, oh, you have no idea, what you're getting yourself into. Basically repeating all the same stuff he was already saying from before. And he was telling him, that he don't know how any of this works and all of that kind of stuff. And then, Sam is like, look, it's not happening. You're not getting out of here. He can't do anything until the chief of staff tells him to, or the vice president. And he was like, well, I'm sure that Donald is asking for me and that, he's looking for me and all that other stuff. And Sam is basically ignoring him. Is like, do you want to eat or not? And then he's telling him, no, he don't want to eat nothing. He needs his meds or he's going to die down here. And, Sam is like, what are these meds? You still haven't told me what they are. And like I said, I didn't see anything in your file. And if you can't tell me, then oh, well, good night. See you later. I'm out of here. And then he's like, are you serious? And Sam is like, yep, sure am. Goodbye. And he was like, how long you planning on keeping me down here? And Sam is basically like, as long as it takes, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why he thinks Sam playing with him, because he not. And so he's like, enjoy your night. If you ain't got nothing else to say and if you don't want to eat, then I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, okay? And, of course, Cal just still keeps sending his little idle threats. And Sam is like, I'll take my chances. And he basically leaves him there. Then we get, the vice president and his wife talking. She comes in and he's still sitting in the living room. He having a drink. And, she's basically saying, I thought you was going to sleep. She was like, come on, I need you to come on and lay next to me and all this other kind of stuff. And it's like, girl, right now he ain't thinking about laying next to you. He thinking about, this situation that y'all done got y'all behinds into. But she's telling him she loves him, and he's telling her he loves her. And then she takes the drink from him, and he's like, it's strong. And she like, all right. And she basically takes a sip, and she was like, well, you still making calls. And he tells her no, he got the phone off. And she's like, honey, it's going to be okay. Of course, she's still trying to be positive, and she's still trying to tell him that they did the right thing, and, it had to be done, and it's for the good of the country. And, she was like, he told her, they're going to be coming at us. And she's like, of course I do. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't expect anything less. She was like, but we're definitely the ones that they underestimated, and we're going to hit back hard. So right now it seems like she's more stronger than he is, because he's saying, I hope you're right. And she's like, listen, we got witnesses. What else do we need? And he was like, well, we're going to have to meet with the party tomorrow, and let's just hope that they don't turn on me. Like, this is not final. We still got more to go. And now they done threw their son into this. And so she was like, I've been thinking about that. And he was like, thinking about what? And she was like, I was thinking about how far she would go to protect them. And then, he's like, Simone. And she's like, no, listen, think about it. She was like, they would basically do anything. And he was like, look, we could be damn murdered and floating around somewhere messing with these people. And she was like, well, you need to put a full security team on him. She was like, they animals, they eat their young. And baby, listen, she ain't far off with that, especially Victoria, okay? She will eat them up, chew them up, spit them out, all right? And so she was like, Hunter Franklin is not above the law. And he was like, I know that, but we also know, how they are. And so she said, well, they're going to use the press to their advantage, and, they're going to basically do everything they can to make these people pay, and that maybe he could possibly be another witness for them, to have the truth come out or whatever. So, her husband was basically listening to her, and she was like, and where exactly is their daughter at? She was like, nah, right, nobody has seen her. That's somebody else we need to speak to and find out what info she knows. And so he was like, you know what, you are right about that. And she was like, yeah, I think if we find her, she could be another witness. So they are using their brains, and they are trying to brainstorm and come up with ideas. But baby, I don't know if y'all could go up against Victoria Hunter, baby. Y'all trying your best, but I don't know if y'all could do it, okay? And so they basically were saying they're going to figure it out. They're not going to give up, and, all that kind of stuff, or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, listen, I'm praying for y'all. I'm praying for y'all, baby, okay? So, we then have her telling him that that's basically the tricky part. But like I said, they're going to stand strong. She was like, okay, now that we got that settled, bring your behind to bed. You can finally come get some rest. There's nothing else that you could do tonight. And, basically that's that. And he all smiling or whatever the case may be, and goes off with her. So then we had Sam trying to sneak his behind back in the damn house. He laying down, but he laying down with his clothes on. Freaking Priscilla done brung her damn crazy behind in there with a boiling pot. I don't know what was in the damn pot, whether it was just boiling water, whether it was grits. But I know Sam needs to get his ass up out of there before she burned him up, because she was not playing with him. She was like, I want you gone. You already know you wasn't supposed to be in here. That's why your ass is still fully dressed. There's nothing to talk about. Get up out of here right now. And he was basically just keep telling her he's sorry. She was like, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. He was telling her to put the pot down first. She was like, no, I will put it down when you get your raggedy behind up out of here, okay? So at one point he walked out and was acting like he was leaving, and she put the pot down. And when he seen that she did that, then he came running back in the room and trying to hold her. And, he was telling her he don't know what made him do this stupidness. He made such a big mistake. He loved her. And he basically was saying, maybe we could go to counseling or something like that. And she was like, now you want to go to counseling? She was like, boy, if you don't get your behind up out of here. And he basically was like, okay. And he went to leave, and then she was crying. I was like, poor Priscilla. I feel bad for her. She is not trying to let that go. And I can't say I blame her. Then we have, Victoria behind getting up talking about, oh God, how long have I been here? And he's like 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? She acting like she been here 45 damn hours. I'm like, girl, cut it out. And she gonna talk about, is it too soon to leave? And he was like, what? She was like, is it too soon to leave? Do you think that's good enough? She was like, you know the press is here. She was like, he said, yeah, I know, and I know you don't give a shit. She was like, well, not after the performance I gave today. And he was like, well, that was pretty good. And she was like, oh, what? Was that a compliment? Are you actually, acknowledging that I put in the work? And so he was like, yeah, you could be wicked or whatever. So she was like, oh, is that a compliment? And smiling. And he was like, I'm just giving the devil her due. And she gonna talk about, said the devil himself. And so he was like, well, it does seem like it's working. And she was like, yeah. So she was like, well, I read, that people are turning on the vice president. So that's a good thing. And then he going to talk about, my Franklin supporters are the best. And she was like, you really think they like you, huh? He was like, I know they do. They love me. And I'm like, yeah, okay, Hunter, whatever. So she tells him, keep thinking that. And he was like, listen, they made me president. And she was like, so what are you going to do, Mr. President? He talking about he gonna kill the damn, because she was like, about your vice president. He gonna say he gonna kill the damn vice president. And she was like, you can't do that. If you do something like that, then you know what I'm saying, you could end up causing World War III. You can't just kill him. And he was like, I can and I will. Okay. And so she was like, that's not how any of this works. And she was like, and how, pray tell, do you think you're gonna do that? And so he was like, well, when he goes to the summit on the trip on the 8th, I'm basically going to blow the damn plane up, okay? The plane going to have issues. Accidents happen all the time. And she was like, Hunter, you are so damn dumb. She was like, it's unfreaking believable. And he was like, why is that dumb? She was like I said, telling him that it doesn't work that way. He can't just do that. And there would be investigations into it. And they would probably blame another country or whatever have you. And be looking, for somebody to name as an enemy. And Congress certainly will start the ball rolling on that. And he going to talk about, I'll think of something. She was like, boy, you ain't got no damn brains, okay? So how the hell you going to think of anything? Everything you think about is stupid. I'll tell you the way they talk to each other. So he going to talk about, well, I'm going to use the side of the brain that wasn't the side that decided to marry you. And then she's like, oh yeah, well, why don't you? She was like, I wish that bullet would have blown it off or whatever. And he was like, yeah, well, your father missed, and she was like, that was a warning, Hunter. Trust, he would have never, missed on purpose or whatever the case may be. And he don't make mistakes. So you need to get over it, because you surely would have been dead if he wanted you dead. And he was like, well, maybe the bullet was meant for you and he missed your ass. So they a mess. They basically just going back and forth. And she was like, I'm pretty sure the bullet had your name on it. So, she basically was like, well, I don't think I need to be here, anymore. I'm going to get ready to head out. I'm looking a little haggard. And he was like, oh, you wake up looking haggard. And of course, she talking about, what are you talking about? I'm always flawless. Are you kidding me? And so, basically, she says it's going to be hard for the press to believe that she really gives a shit about, this guy. And he was like, you'll think of something. And she was like, yeah, I just need to think really hard. She was like, the way I used to pretend that I enjoy having sex with you. And he was like, well, you was good at acting. And she was like, no, joy I know. But when it comes to sadness, not so much. I said, Victoria is really wicked, man. Like I said, the title of this was perfect. And so, she says that she's not cut out for the mom shit. And that, Gail is gone, but being left with this idiot, even though he's actually their saving grace. And she should actually probably be thanking him. And then she throwing her makeup bag and everything, well, her pocketbook and everything on top of him and taking out makeup, talking about she needs to fix her makeup. And Hunter's like, yo, you just threw that on top of him. Like, what are you doing? She's talking about, oh, he don't care. He can't feel it. It ain't bothering him. I was like, you know what? I cannot with Victoria, okay? And, that's when she just started trying to fix her makeup and make herself look presentable to walk out, because she worried about the fact that the press is still there. And she was like, we got to look like we a perfect family, even though we about as far from being a damn family as it could possibly be, okay? And so, Hunter's like, oh, would you just shut up? Like, can you just be quiet? I don't want to hear nothing. And she was like, well, I'll only be here for a little while longer. So, yeah, we could go ahead and sit in silence. That works for me. And, then they basically just sitting there looking at each other, whatever have you. And she gonna talk about, I wonder what's on television. I was like, and Hunter's just holding his head. And I'm like, Hunter, I'm holding it with you at this point, okay? And so, then we had Nancy waking up because somebody banging on their damn door. And I'm like, well, who the hell is this? I'm sorry, no, wait. Yeah, we had Nancy waking up. Somebody was banging on their door. So I'm like, well, who the hell is this? And then for a minute there, I was thinking maybe they let Kareem go. And it could possibly be him or maybe Sam, being as though Priscilla kicked him out. And at this point, the whole house wakes up. Is, Barry, Nancy, all of them coming down. And it is Sam, and he asked, can he sleep on the couch? He said he would be good there, that he have to be up in a couple hours for work. He basically tells Richard that Priscilla kicked him out. He's like, are you serious? So he was like, yeah, you more than welcome on the couch, and you ain't got to explain, everything to me. So at this point, Richard was asking him if he had heard any more about the situation with Callie, Barry's daughter. And Barry come in like, oh, that's a good question, and I want to know. And you know what? Barry could act idiotic, and he get on my nerves. He another one that could be very dumb. But when it comes to this, I agree with him. Like, this boy daughter been gone is like that damn meme from the Titanic, the part in the movie when she's like, it's been 84 years. Y'all have had this boy's child gone for crazy long time. And of course they telling him, we can't tell you nothing about it. We can't talk to you about it. And he was like, well, tell me what you do know. Like, I need to know something. You got to be able to give me some kind of info. He was like, I want my damn daughter back. And like I said, I have to agree with Barry when it comes to that part. And so Sam is saying, they have this inside man that's working on it. There's really nothing they can do until they able to obtain this information, because of course they trying to be able to take the whole thing down, and they trying to get the biggest fish. And Barry don't care nothing about all that stuff. He's like, so in the meantime, my daughter just supposed to stay there stuck while y'all waiting to get whoever, and then she could possibly be hurt and all this other stuff. And Sam is saying, look, it's constantly being monitored. They're watching whatever have you. And like I said, have this inside person. He's like, right now, we don't really have to worry about her being in danger. She is safe, at least in the meantime, which is a good thing. And Barry's like, well, what do you mean by that? How do you know? He was like, well, as long as she's under, she's not the age where she would be put into danger. So Barry is like, well, what's the age? He gonna talk about 10 years old, and that, she would be out of there before she's 9, so he ain't got to worry about it. He's like, she's 8 now. He was like, how the hell, is that supposed to make me feel better? And so he's like, I know, that's why I was saying that she's out of there before she turns 9. It's going to be soon. So he's like, what happens after 10? And of course, we all can imagine exactly what that is. And basically, I'm with him, like, how the hell are y'all okay knowing that all these kids is being held there in the predicaments that they could be in, talking about once they get 10 and older, then that's when stuff happens. So basically, of course he gets even more upset at that time, and I can't blame him for that. And he tells them if anything happens to her, he would never forgive, Sam or Richard for the fact that she was still there. He was like, this is ridiculous now. And, Richard is telling him he don't have a choice. They telling him that they understand completely how he feels. And, it's really not nothing else they could do. He got to try to be patient, try to work with them. And they are promising him that they are going to get his daughter home to him. And so I'm like, we'll see. And then once Barry walks off, of course, Sam is apologizing to Richard again. And Richard is like, look, I understand. I know how this works, or whatever the case may be. And, he's like, Jesus, this is just a mess. And then he goes back to bed. And, of course, Nancy trying to ask him questions. And he like, look, I can't talk about it. And then, she's saying as far as him, Priscilla, what did he think? And he's like, I don't know. Right now, it doesn't look like she wants to forgive him. It takes a lot for a person to forgive cheating. She want to act like she taking it personal. And so I'm looking at him, and he like, nah, I'm not talking about our situation. And he was saying that you really gotta love somebody to be able to get past that. She gonna talk about, well, I'm happy you love me. I'm like, yeah, Nancy, you better be, because shit, you did sleep with his father and had a damn child with him, okay? Not only just slept with him and kept the secret for how many years? So hush, girl, okay? We need you to be quiet and be happy that he's speaking to you again. And so then we have Alan coming in, and the Secret Service is like, I wasn't expecting to see you no time soon. What are you doing here? Like, I'm surprised to see you. And he's saying, well, why are you surprised? He was like, but everything that happened with your girlfriend, I thought you was taking some time off. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Well, I decided to come in. So in the meantime, his badge was giving some kind of problem. I think he put like gum or a band-aid or something on it on purpose, so that the guy was like, well, let me see it. And while his thing is going through, where they do the check at, and while the guy's looking at the badge, he's busy sliding like a shoebox underneath it. I don't know what kind of damn security they are. They is horrible as hell, okay? And he's sliding that underneath and sliding it through so that it doesn't get checked with all the rest of the stuff. And then when the guy comes back and gives him the badge and he takes his briefcase off the belt thing, basically he picks up the shoebox at the same time too. First he was pretending to bend down like if he was tying his shoe. And he gets to walk out with both damn things in his hand without them knowing. So I'm like, Alan, who the hell you coming up in here to shoot up now, huh? So anyway, Grip, the security that has, the Secret Service that has Kareem, calls, Donald and tells him is legit and that he has, Kareem there. So he tells him to bring him to him. And he's like, you sure, sir? And he's like, yeah. And then, of course, Donald again asks about Callan, if anybody's heard him, has anybody been able to track him? He's like, what about his shoe? He's like, no, they not picking him up on nothing. And he's like, should I be looking into it further, sir? And Donald basically tells him, no, leave it alone, but bring Kareem behind to him and he's gonna worry about the rest. Then Victoria brings her raggedy behind out into the hall and tells Donald that she gonna get ready to go home, that, was the reporter still there? He's saying, yeah, they down on the first floor. She gonna talk about she needs somebody to hold her up so she could look like she give a shit. And Donald was just like rolling his eyes up in the air, and he basically like, these people crazy as hell. And he like, Lord help me. And so he was like, well, ma'am, don't you think it would be better if you stayed a night? She talking about some, oh no, I don't want to do that. Are you crazy? I got a comfortable bed at home. Why would I do that? And all this different kind of stuff. And at one point she was saying she should change into flat shoes. She shouldn't have on her red bottoms. Then she gonna talk about, well, never mind. He the one that jumped, he the one that's got to look like he's all banged up or whatever. Not me. I still need to look good. And at that point, that's when Donald just was like, man, okay, let me get this crazy ass broad out of here. So he does, I guess go to walk her down. Then he comes back in the room and ends up checking on, Hunter and asking him how Jason is doing. And he's pretty much like he's still doing the same. And then, he asked him, well, Hunter starts asking him about the damn nurse. And he talking about, no, the nurse is gone for the day. At this point, he getting annoyed with him too, because he like, damn, I'm thinking you sitting here and actually caring about your son for 5 minutes, and now here you go asking about the nurse. So he's like, she's gone for the day. And he was like, basically start telling him about Kareem, like, right now you need to be worried about that. You messing around with these damn women is, was getting us into problems to begin with. Now he done went to police and was trying to tell the police whatever was going on. So of course Hunter's like, oh, he got some big balls on him, I'll give him that. Do he really think he could go up against me? And so now he want to talk about bring Kareem to him, that he want to see him there. And of course Donald always telling them that he don't think these things is a good idea, and they always telling Donald they don't give a damn what the hell he think. Okay, just do what the hell they told him to do, and that's that. Hunter also, when he asked him about, when Donald asked him about the vice president, says don't worry about that, him and Victoria's already on top of that. And he's like, okay, can I ask what exactly are you on top of it? What's your plan? What do you plan on doing or whatever? Hunter basically says, oh, they all gonna die. You know what I mean? The vice president, the wife, the kids, they all going down, and they all gonna die. He compares himself to, I think it was Pablo Escobar. And Donald was like, well, you're not a damn drug lord. And he was like, no, I'm not. He was like, no, I'm not. I'm the president, so I'm worse. I say, you know what? You probably right, Hunter, okay? And so then we see Alan get in the office and basically take a gun out the damn box. So like I said, I knew it was something. Alan about to try to come in there and blow people away or whatever have you. Then we have, Bobby run up behind Max, putting a gun to his head. I don't know what kind of playing that is. Don't put no damn gun to my head in no manner like that. But, Max basically just tells him like, oh, big boy, you got to be more quiet than that if you think you're going to sneak up on me. And of course, Max is just still searching for Cal. He's still saying that they have access to the White House, that he can still go in there, that he figures this is the spot that Sam probably have him in. Bobby is telling him, listen, you got to trust Sam. He's a good dude. He's going to do the right thing. You need to chill for a minute. I know you want him real bad or whatever the case may be, but we need to let them do what they doing. And, Max is basically saying back to him, like, is this Bobby talking or is this damn, what's his girlfriend name? I don't forgot now. But he's asking like, what is your problem? I thought you would be down with this, and I thought, we would be on the same page and all that kind of stuff. And Bobby is like, please just chill, just give them a chance. And so he says he will, and that he heard him. But he was like, well, what would he do? What would make Sam cooperate? What about if we go mess with his family, or if he think Cal did something to his family? So I'm like, oh Lord, Max, don't do what I think you're gonna do, because he definitely ain't about to chill. So Bobby, you basically just wasted your damn breath even saying that. Then we had Sharon coming in talking to Dell, saying, did you hear anything from Kareem? He's like, no. She's saying she didn't hear from him. She's starting to get a little worried, and he's like, well, where do you think he went? She talking about, oh, probably to the pharmacy. He was like, do you really think he went to the pharmacy, or you think he went to the police? Because she was like, well, where do you think he went? And she was like, no, he wouldn't do that. I doubt that. And all of that kind of stuff. And he was like, are you sure? She was like, no, he's not that stupid. I'm looking like this. Sharon, we talking about Kareem. You really think he not that stupid, girl? You want to rethink that statement again? Okay, so Dell was like, do you think that this went deeper? How do you think that we got on their radar to begin with? Do you think this was like some kind of plan? And she's like, huh? What do you mean by that? And she was like, I think maybe you've been drinking too much. And he was like, yeah, maybe it's the medication. I'm going to go ahead and lay my behind down. And she was like, okay. Then we basically see that, Grip has Kareem dead now. I guess this is in the damn basement of the hospital, okay? Got a damn thing over Kareem's head, and he calls Donna, and Donna says, we'll be down. And he's like, we? And he was like, yes, I said we. And so in the meantime, Kareem is still trying to be like, I promise I won't say nothing and all that kind of stuff. And Grip is basically telling him like, boy, it's too late for that. We've already bypassed that. And Kareem is telling him, I have a child. And I'm like, I ain't even remember that, because how you always in damn Sharon ass and act like you ain't got no other life. I forgot all about that. But now he's like telling him over and over he got a child, and he was like, stop saying that and stop saying sorry. It just makes it worse. He was like, it depends on what the big guy says on what's gonna happen to you, and you need to shut the hell up. It ain't nothing else to talk about, and you telling me that you sorry is not helping. And so every time he's saying I have a daughter and all that other stuff, he basically was telling him to shut up. And then he gets out, and Hunter brings his behind down, and he steps in, and at first they just quiet, and Kareem breathing all heavy or whatever. And then Hunter's like, you wanted to see me? And he's like, who's this? Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? And he take the damn hood off his head, and then he looks, and he's like, Hunter Franklin. And Hunter's basically like, it's Mr. President to you, mother. And that was basically how that episode ended. So what y'all think he gonna do to Kareem? Is Kareem a goner? Is he gonna give him another warning? What y'all think? Or is it gonna be that his body never turns up, or it turns up somewhere else, like he got mugged or something, and then he dead, and Sharon and them be like, oh God, they killed him. Like, what do y'all think? And do y'all think that Barry is ever gonna get his damn daughter back? I don't know. Inquiring minds want to know. Okay, do you think that Alan is about to shoot up Victoria behind? I don't know, y'all. Put it all in the comments. Let me know what y'all thinking. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Let me know what y'all predictions are for next week's episode. Okay, put it all in the comments, and like, comment, share, subscribe. Okay, y'all, till next time. Toodaloo.